Y'all know, I've been saying for about, actually, it's been about 5 to maybe 7 years. Um, yeah, that I said I was going to do a podcast. I am one of those people, and I can admit I'm one of those people who is a perfectionist, and a lot of this space takes a lot of the learning curve that I just didn't have the energy to do while I was dealing and battling with my health. But now, um, I'm entering a season where it's more important to share my story than not. I am going on 5 years of having MS, and the journey has been so eye opening. Um, life teaches you a lot of things, and I think if you can look at the bad and take the lesson out of it and find the good in it, even something as sad and depressing and miserable as having a chronic illness, I think you can go far in life. So, this next journey, I want to take y'all on with me, and fully take you on with me. I think I'm not even gonna say I think. I know for the past couple of years, I only give people what I really want them to see, because of my introvertedness. And that is a lot of what people don't understand about me, because I can show up as an extrovert in spaces. And I can be a personality, and I can be, I can communicate with people, I can talk to you, but typically I don't want to. I can be the person that breaks the ice in the room just because I just hate, I don't know about y'all, but I hate when it's like a question was posed and just dead silence. No, we gotta break this silence. Like, I can't stand the silence. Like, it eats me up. And again, I think that's just another piece of my introvertedness. And so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. These first couple of episodes are gonna be very, very raw, very, very raw, because I am recording in Michigan. Then I have to get back to OKC. Then, just planning the rest of the year and preparing for 2026 is a lot going on. A lot of moving pieces going on right now. But I want to not only share my journey, but also document it, because I am super duper proud of myself, um, of how I was able to bounce back. So this is definitely the start of something that is great, and something that I know if I stick to it, we can get to it, right? So here's to starting this new podcast. Let's go. All right, y'all. So, welcome to episode 1, season 1, beginning, all of that good stuff. This is 3 of 300, where we talk about having that 1% mindset. We talk about conversations that most people are not having, and just opening the eyes of everybody around us to be great with, um, expanding your mind. So, where did 3 of 300 come from? So, I am an inner city black girl. Proud of it. It is, especially after I learned all the systems and everything that is created in the inner city. I am definitely proud to say that, and I know, oh, it's so many layers, but I know a lot of people, or a lot of historians, don't like the act of knowledgeable black people leaving the inner city. And the doctor moved away, the teacher moved away, all these people moved away and kind of moved into areas. But it's also, and I was just telling my naturopathic doctor, and it's one of those things where I'm going to stay so connected still to my roots, but I also have to remove myself because I can't function in what is tearing me up. Like yesterday, well, I've been in Michigan for about, I think this will be 5 weeks. So I've heard more sirens in 5 weeks, and I probably heard more in the first 3 days I was here than I've heard in the 3 months, 3 to 4 months I was away in OKC. And that just shows a lot of my need to want to be at peace. And that was the catalyst of it, is where do you grow up at? Where are you? So as a public health professional, I study social determinants of health. Where you live, your access to healthcare, your access to education, your access to food, all these things play a role in it, but also your environment, the air, all of those different things. And so I was telling my naturopathic doctor yesterday, and I was just, and then it's very ironic that we were sitting on the phone, sitting on the porch, and um, we heard a shooting, and then I wake up this morning and find out, yeah, and it was so crazy because I told her, I was like, when I heard the sirens after I heard the shots, I was like, oh yeah, those gunshots. And she was like, really? I was like, do you hear the sirens? And then you hear the sirens ramp up, like they're all going towards lights, and everything are going towards that area. And I told her, I was like, I feel this is a lot that has this played a big role in my health growing up in an area like the inner city of Grand Rapids. And it's just so many layers. So I'll stop that there. But going back to the name of the podcast, right? 3 of 300. I'm an inner city black girl. I went to Central Michigan University. Fire up, chips. Go. But I never I never experienced a culture shock before. And it's funny because I grew up in a white church. So it was just shocking that, I guess it was shocking that it was so many of them, I guess. Like, I don't know, but I'm majoring in the sciences. There's not many of us that's majoring in the sciences. So I always can get a jaw drop, a mouth open when I tell people, or I ask people, have you ever been 3 of 300? And even when you look at like lecture, classroom size, 300 of us is in here, and there's only three. And I'm not even going to say it's three black identifying people, because it could be me and two mixed people, me and two um African country native. Like it's so many different layers of the three, but you can typically catch about three of us. And again, I took science classes all the way through until my junior year, because I just wasn't, they weren't about to keep stressing me out. But until my junior year. So taking these science classes and being in these rooms was an eye opener for me. And I think as I come back home and I have these conversations, like with my eldest brother, and we talk about it, and I tell him, like, we talk about our experiences and talk about the different experiences that we both have experienced coming from the inner city, him being a black man from the inner city, me being a black woman from the inner city, but kind of being a product of him, the investment that he put into his siblings to make sure that we had a different view of life. And I will forever and always, and I told him that when I seen him recently, like I will always thank him for that, because that exposure does open your eyes to think differently. Um, and it kind of get forced. So like when when mental health and all these different things started becoming buzzwords, like I was already known, like I was a mental health first aid. I had that certificate for years. I used to renew it all the time. I haven't renewed it, but we had to learn about that stuff in college. So like when it started becoming a buzzword, it was just like, oh, like okay, people are dealing with this, and it was kind of, I was kind of the first people around in my circle to go to therapy, to seek out different health alternatives. So it was really, I've been really learning and understanding that my experience is different. And again, the 3 of 300, 1%. A lot of people can't relate to my around me to my situation. So I find myself feeling like the oddball, feeling like the black sheep, feeling like, just the outsider, because the things that I'm experiencing, no one can really relate, and no one can really even empathize, because empathize and sympathize, because those are traits and those are skills that you have to learn to do. So yeah, so with people not knowing those skills and having those traits, it becomes one of those things where around these type of people and navigate around people who are just not equipped with skills. And I have a whole conversation about that, especially when it comes to people not being equipped with certain skills, with certain knowledge. And Mel Robbins, love her. She's in West Michigan. I think she's from Holland. I want to say she's from somewhere from West Michigan. It's either Holland, Muskegon, somewhere. But I love her, and she was just talking about how we are just so quick to throw people out because they don't have certain skills. And she talks to her daughters, and she tells them like, you adore your father, but this is 29 years. And it really is one of those things where you have to sit back and really start looking at those around you, and start looking at who are they, what do they hold, what skills do they hold, what skills do they not tapping into to try to be a better version of themselves. And so again, if y'all listen through this episode, I thank you. This is really raw. I'm just this is month October, so I told myself I gotta do at least one week for this first month. I've been on my TikTok, so on my TikTok, Vivacious Warrior. I talk a lot about my MS journey on there. But again, this is kind of going to be thought leading. I want to get y'all thinking. I want to have, and I'm personally in conversations. Like, I love my podcast name, Vivacious Conversations. I think that might be my newsletter name, because the conversations that I love to have with people is so robust. And I love to always get other people's opinion too, because I think a lot of time people don't realize that the lack of experience and the lack of like knowing and all of this really can have you feeling like you're lost. And once you get that confidence to understand, like, okay, this is my stance that I'm going to have in this world, what do I need to further pursue it? So yeah, so it's definitely a journey with me, because this podcast stuff is very daunting. um, I'm an introvert. Going back to that, I'm a natural introvert. I'm working with a coach who's going to help me navigate through that. And kind of get me more comfortable with showing up. And being able to articulate when people, because it's, I guess there's no problem with me showing up. It's once people start talking to me, I'm like, all right, I don't really want to talk. But it is nothing personal. It's never nothing personal. I hope people don't take it personal. But I'm just really, really introverted. And then, especially with my MS, my mood can be very, very stagnant at times. And you can catch me where I'm really overstimulated and trying to hold it together. And I may just really seem withdrawn, but it's like, no, I'm really just losing them inside, just trying to keep it together. So yes, this is me. Um, and this is why I wanted to do this 3 of 300, looking at the 1% of things and kind of, building a new way of just talking to each other in a new conversation. And then and I'm gonna have segments and all this stuff, but this was just a really raw episode, just to say I did it, just to give people something to support. um and really just hopefully set the stage for my next few episodes. So typically what will happen is um I will be going video eventually. I'm just not going to do that right now because I'm not home. So gotta get audio for now. But next month definitely will be video, and hopefully have my whole setup by that time. But yes, so tap in, keep tapping in, and I appreciate y'all. Everybody that supports me from afar, near. Um, it's really important to have that support, especially going through not only life, but the challenges of the unexpected, having multiple sclerosis, um, and just the recovery of it, and just not even the physical recovery. I think a lot of people think like, oh, well, you're able to move around and you're able to do this, but people don't really understand how daunting the process of having an autoimmune condition. Me and my sister were just talking about this, and it was just like going to having to find new doctors and going through different treatment plans and all this stuff is very exhausting, and it makes you really think of life differently, of how can I keep living the best life that I can and enjoying this life. So I'm going to wrap it up before 20 minutes because I'm running out of things to talk about right now. And again, this is really raw, y'all. So I thank y'all for hanging in there. But the perfectionist in me, y'all can get a bomb podcast when I figure this out. So until next time, you guys, I will be talking to you. See ya.